Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. And where there's hypocrisy, there's problems. Something's not right. Notice in Jesus what he said in Luke chapter 13, 10 through 17. It said, "Now he was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath, and look, a woman was there who had a spirit of weakness for 18 years, and she was bent double and was unable to straighten up at all. When he saw her, Jesus addressed her and said, 'Woman, you are released from your weakness.' And he laid his hands on her, and instantly she straightened up and began to glorify God." But in response, the presiding officer of the synagogue, indignant because Jesus did the cure on the Sabbath, said to the crowd, "There are 6 days on which work ought to be done, so come and be cured on those days and not on the Sabbath day." However, the Lord answered him, "Hypocrites, does not each one of you on the Sabbath untie his bull or his donkey from the stall and lead it away to give it something to drink? Should not this woman, who is a daughter of Abraham, and whom Satan held bound for 18 years, be released from this bondage on the Sabbath day?" Well, when he said these things, all of his opposers began to feel shame, but the entire crowd began to rejoice at all the glorious things he did. Yes, Jesus exposed the hypocrisy, did he not? He exposed their hypocrisy and he showed how wrong they were. Hypocrisy has a long history with humans because they don't want to do what's right. Look at the Catholic Church for one instance. They claim to be Christ's church, the original church. They tell everybody you got to obey them. They promote it. They're supposed to be Christians following Jesus, and yet they were burning people at the stake, keeping people from reading the Bible, doctrine of discovery, enslaving people, and doing all kinds of things like that. And so everybody's supposed to listen to them, but they're not listening to Christ. Hypocrites. Like for ones that say once saved, always saved. Well, they're trying to tell you got to believe in Jesus the way they believe in it. But you believe in Jesus your way. Well, how are you going to come tell me how to worship Jesus when you say once saved, always saved? See, you remove the standards until you say something. Well, how is that once saved, always saved? Hypocrites. Watchtower does the very same thing. Knock on people's doors, tell them this is what the scriptures actually say. And then they actually have the audacity to teach things that they know that God never said. And yet they're going to get on others for doing the same thing. Hypocrites. They talk about illegal immigration a lot and all this kind of thing. But yet they want to do this mass deportation of people and get them out of the country. But yet the ones who actually employed these ones, there's no judgment. There's no charges against them. Now, when someone was buying drugs, just marijuana or something like that, they put the buyer and the seller, mostly the buyer, in jail, and they also dealt with the seller. But when it came to illegal immigration, they're only dealing with the seller, not the buyer. Hypocrites. This immunity that they give their president. They give him immunity where he can do as he pleases, and yet they want to say there's no one above the law. Hypocrites. Same-sexing, homosexuality, and this kind of thing. That somehow this is natural. From female with female, and male and male. But if it's so natural, why when you want a child, you have to go outside of that arrangement to have a child with the opposite sex? Hypocrites. They talk about DEI people. Oh, they're DEI. The only reason they got the position because they're this race or that race. But they don't mind hiring people that have no experience as long as they have the color that they want. Hypocrites. like what happened on January the 6th. First notion was they wanted to blame people who were Antifa, black people. They wanted to blame the FBI for it. But when that wasn't working, and that didn't go along with the facts, now it's hostages and patriots, hypocrites. Those who are atheists are not excluded from this hypocrisy. Because while they want to deny there's a God, they deny there's a spirit world, but yet when it comes time for Christmas, they may be first in line to drag a tree up in the house and decorate it. First at the Christmas table and all this type of thing. Swiftly to engage in this pagan ritual meant for pagan gods, but yet they claim there's no God. Why would you be doing this if in reality you believe there's no God? Or Halloween. Why would you be engaging in Halloween, which endorses the spirit world? And you say there is no spirit world, but you're right there. Or Easter, or any of these other celebrations that have God attached to them. Why would, if you were really about that life, if you were really believing there was no God, and you're an atheist, why would you be doing these things? Hypocrites. Because when religion serves their purpose, they're okay with that. When they can have a good time with religion, that's fine. But when it tells them, no, you're doing something wrong, no, they can't. That ain't gonna work for them. And where there's hypocrisy, something going wrong. Thinking is wrong. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It's about doing what you want to do.